He's Calvin here, down in the den, round 21, looking at captains. A little bit of a sniffle, a little bit under the weather. Not grog under the weather, just under the weather. Cow's a bit worn down. Round 21, it's getting close. Let's have a look at the top captain options ready for round 21. Oh, I feel like I've just wasted all my energy there. We are looking at Rory Laird. We're looking at a guy gone 144 in his last 3. A guy who has gone over 120 in his last 8. A guy who has gone over 130 in his last 5. Cow, stop it. I will. He had 122 against the Eagles earlier this year. He had 122 and 125 against them last year. Little flag. And it's the tiniest little bloody flag. You can't even see it. Xavier O'Neill tagged Touk Miller last week to 122. Now, the thing was that day, he only had one mark. Okay, because it's a tag. It's hard to mark when you're getting tagged. Doesn't matter. Rory Laird gets it done in tackles. It's the last game of the round. He will bring it home. He'll bring home the bacon. And he will be fantastic. Number 2 on my list there is Callum Mills. Now, once again, matchup. He's playing against the Kangaroos. That don't get much easier than this. So, let's have a look what Essendon did to the Kangaroos last week. Zach Merritt, 172. Redmond, he's a defender, 139. Into a bunch of other guys there who went over 110. There were a lot of them. We had 5 players in that game take double-figure marks. Now, if Mills is out there doing his marking game, he had 8 last week for his 116, then he's going to have a big, big day. Now, that is under the roof, dry as. That's what a roof does, right? You understand that. Sunday, first up. Plenty of time to roll into Laird if you need to. Number 3 on the list, little bit of a controversial one here in Clayton Oliver. Matchup. Against Collingwood, the number 1 easiest team for midfielders to score against since the bye rounds. They have been giving up some massive scores. To prove I'm right, when Melbourne played Collingwood earlier this year, Viney 157, Oliver 146, Brayshaw 127, James Jordan 120. It goes on, right? They give up points. Don't get me wrong. The thing is, he was tagged at 87 last week. His game before that was the one with his thumbs. You got to forgive that. The thing is, there's no tag here. He will have a day out against the best opposition to play against for midfielders. Number 4 on my list there, Zach Merritt. Just based on the fact that it's Zach Merritt, lowest score of 118 in his last 6. He's been amazing. However, he will be tagged by Lockie Ash. Now, Ash tagged last week. He went to Chad Warner, held him to 65. Last year, when they played against GWS, it was Parrish who copped the tag and was held to 69. The thing is, he's done it before against Essendon, and he will be asked to do it again just like he was last week. Merritt's form is still elite, and he should be fine. He is second up on Saturday, which is also another great vice-captain option. The rest is up there. You can check out my top 10. Have a look who they are. I'll go through a couple of other ones that you might have thought about. Touk Miller, there's a flag against this week because he will be tagged by McGuinness. Last 2 scores for him, 122 and 120. Thing is, he gets it done with tackles. So you would assume that he'd be okay. This year against the Hawks, he had a 105. Last year, a 160. That's at Pig Park. Tom Mitchell's there as well. Both of those guys should be fine. The Suns are actually one of his favourite teams to score against. Now, moving on. What do we got here? We're looking at McRae. You're not touching McRae. He hasn't scored over 110 his last 6. That's a pass. Bailey Smith, gee, he stunk last week with a 65. He could be tagged by James Aish here, so that's an interesting one. Aish went to Oliver last week. Aish has to go to someone. I don't think he can go with Bont. Next in line, for me, would be Bailey Smith. Brayshaw, Warnes boy. Oh, where's Andy Brayshaw, Karen? Where's Andy Brayshaw? Andy Brayshaw. He's not on the list this week, dog, because the Bulldogs are the number 1 hardest team to score against. Hear me out. Last week, Geelong. Only one guy hit 100, and that was Isaac Smith. Now, 104, in fact. They're just too good. The Dogs are so restrictive, and if you want to rely on Andy Brayshaw to get it done, I'm saying, hey, go for it. Vice-captain only. He's a vice-captain only. You can roll him into a Mills or a Laird, so I'll tick that off. But I think you've got better options for a guy who could go a big 140 this week in Oliver or Mills. leading into your lead. Who else have we got on the list here? Mitch Duncan, I reckon he gets tagged by Windhager. Windhager's got to go to someone. He's been so good lately, so I reckon he goes there. A couple of smokies, though. Luke Parker, he should be fantastic in this matchup. He's gone 118, 114 in his last two, so expect him to be big. And here's my smoky. The biggest smoky of the day, of the weekend, is going to be Jake Lloyd. Now, off the back of the fact that they were 5 bombers, and one of them was Redmond with a 139, racking up marks against the Kangaroos. Lloyd, under the roof, where he averaged 112 last year, he will have a day out. Now, if the Kangaroos are doing what they've been doing the last few weeks, expect Lloyd to be massive against them. Sam Walsh as well, I really like him this week. I was hoping to bring him in, but I can't see how I do it. 128 last week with a little bit of a sore ankle from the week before. 123 against Brisbane last year. They're a team that have been giving up quite a few points in recent weeks, and I reckon he cashes in and Cripps. Oh my God. Not the chippy variety. The man that's gone 139, 121 since I traded him out. That's another story. Anyway, legends, good luck this week. Only a few more to go.